Thank you for coming to KSHB.com and joining and looking at the weather blog. Weather pattern across the United States is pretty quiet. There's a trough in the eastern Pacific, and it's pushing warmer air into western Canada, forcing a ridge to form in the western part of the United States, which puts the jet stream over us into a northwest flow. And in this northwest flow, there's little disturbances and little patches of flurries and some very light snow showers. And that's going to be the case later on today into tonight and tomorrow morning. But we're not expecting any significant accumulation. On PowerCast shows us pretty well, around 40 by noon and partly cloudy or so. The thicker clouds come in this evening. If you look really close, you can see a few little blue dots. There's a few flurries or snow showers around, but temperatures will be above freezing most of the night, maybe briefly falling to 30, and then back up into the low 30s to mid-30s by tomorrow morning. And then through the day tomorrow, just a lot of clouds, but then they start to move off to the east. Look at that. 58 tomorrow in Dodge City, 43 here in Kansas City, 52 in Concordia. Warmer air is beginning to approach from the west as these jet stream begins to shift. And look at Monday. Yes, 57, if not 60 degrees into the 60s in southwest Kansas. And if you look at the wind configuration, you kind of see it forms a U. And when we have that U configuration and we're at the bottom of it, it really can warm up, with the main low up in northern Minnesota. So into the 50s would not surprise me to touch 60. And then this cold front comes through Monday night into Tuesday, but it's not much of a front. 34 in Bismarck. We just don't have much Arctic air. And as we look at the jet stream, the reason why we don't have much Arctic air is as the upper level flow comes from the Pacific into western Canada and then down over us, so it's not tapping any Arctic air. It's just Pacific Canadian air. But as we go through the next several days, into next weekend, we'll be looking in Alaska. If you look closely in western Alaska, here comes a ridge forming that forms into an upper level high up there. And it really gets its act together as we go towards next weekend, and it changes the configuration of the jet stream. Instead of the air originating in western Canada, it's originating in northwest Canada or north of Alaska, even close to the Arctic. So we are going to start to get some shots of Arctic air coming in from the north, and at the same time, there's a weaker southern branch that will bring some storm systems. So, as we go into February, the LRC Long Range Spotlight, 2 to 4 winter events. Right now, we don't see them as big winter storms, but we'll have to keep an eye on that, and periods of Arctic air. And there's a chance for 1 3 or 4 day Arctic blast. So we'll be keeping an eye as we go into February for all of that. But today, no Arctic blast, but we might have a snowflake or a raindrop. 44 by 4 p.m. and cloudy, 40 by noon. The evening and overnight, a lot of clouds, maybe a flurry or snowflake. Tomorrow, same thing, a lot of clouds, 44, maybe a morning snowflake or raindrop. 57 Monday, and then into the 40s Tuesday, Wednesday, and cooling off towards the end of the week. But no winter weather yet. The first one of those little events would possibly be next weekend. We'll keep an eye on that. Have a great weekend and week ahead.